Let's talk about bats today. People either love them or hate them. There's not much in between. But really, they're amazing creatures that God made. Now, sometimes people will say goofy things like, you're blind as a bat. Well, bats can see, but God has a better way for them to get around at night. Sometimes they'll say you got bats in your belfry. Well, what's a belfry anyway? It's that tall tower that they would keep a bell in on an old church or other building. So some people will keep little bat houses around because they like them for the value of the insects they eat. You can see how they're all crammed in there. Well, there's these little slots inside that bat house, and they get all up in those little slots all nice and snug. They like it that way. So going back to that bell tower, you can see how that slotted sides, they would like getting up in there. So people are just saying, you got something goofy flittering around in your head. They might also say something about bats turning into vampires. Well, that's just not even right. They eat insects and fruit. God has other great plans for them, has amazing things that they do. Maybe Charlie can tell us more about them.
Hello, folks. Today we are going to have another reading from that book, Stories with Grandpa, by Dr. Ken Hovind. Today we are going to read about bats. A lot of people don't like bats, but bats are actually very beneficial. Let's read about them. I'm going to read this the way Doc Hovind read it. Some of you are grandkids. We're all grandkids. We all had grandparents. So, dear grandkids, I pray for you a lot. I want you to be hard workers and love Jesus. Last night, as I came out of church, one of the men said, "Hey, there's a bat on the table." Two bats were in the air flying around over a bug, and the big one knocked the little one down on the table. He was curled up in a ball about as big as a golf ball. He only weighed as much as a letter. God is so smart. The bat was called the little brown bat. There are about 1,100 different kinds of bats found all over the world. They look like a mouse with wings. The biggest bat in the world has wings that reach 5 feet. Ain't that amazing? The one I saw last night was only about 10-inch wingspan. I slid a piece of paper under him to pick him up and carry him to a tree in a dark corner so he could rest up from being hurt. You must be careful never to pick up a bat with your hands. If you do touch a bat, wear very thick gloves. Bats have razor-sharp teeth like needles. They don't know you are trying to help them, so they will bite you to protect themselves. And they have those teeth so they could get those bugs, because some of those bugs, they're not very big, and some of those bugs are kind of tough, and so they can get through those bugs. They're not meat eaters, and there's no such thing as a vampire bat, or that they do any of that stuff. Bats live about 10 years. They love to live in caves or inside of holes in your roof or in trees. They can catch bugs right out of the air. The little brown bat eats 1/2 of its body weight in insects every night, and a lot of them are mosquitoes. So if you don't like getting bit by mosquitoes, let the bats do their thing, and they'll keep them down. That's like Matthew eating 60 hamburgers in one night, or some of you boys out there who like to eat a lot. I know what that's like, because when I was young, I could eat a lot. A lot of people made fun of me because I was skinny and I was eating more than they could. But we won't get into that. Bats sleep all day and fly around hunting bugs all night. sometimes you can see them fly around right after it gets dark. And we see that around here at Azelda's Legacy in the summer. It's awesome. They can see, but at night they make squeak sounds to find bugs. The ears hear very well. It's called echolocation. In the winter, they hibernate. That means they sleep for weeks at a time. The bat sleeps upside down, hanging from roofs and caves. After bats have lived in the cave for hundreds of years, the bat dew, called guano, gets really thick on the floor, sometimes over 100 feet thick. That's pretty thick. You need somebody to clean that up. Farmers love to get guano to put on their fields for fertilizer to make the crops grow faster and bigger. Bats are really fun to study. God really made an amazing animal when he made the bat. Always love God and tell others about him. So when you guys are out at night, seeing them little black things flying around, they don't have a tail. You can tell they're small. You can tell the way they're darting around. They're out there getting bugs. All those mosquitoes and stuff like that, they're taking care of them so they don't bite you as much. One thing I want to show you is these are some of the bats. See how they almost look like a Tyrannosaurus, but they're not. They're not even close. Tyrannosaurus or not a Tyrannosaurus, sorry about that, pterodactyl. They might look like a pterodactyl, but they're not. They're a mammal. Pterodactyl is a reptile.
They're not a bird?
And neither one of them are birds. They're just flying mammals. God has an imagination. He has made all kinds of interesting animals. You all take care and God bless.
Wow, that was a lot of good information. I like it when Charlie reads us stuff that Doc is sharing with us. So one important thing to remember is if you see one sitting somewhere, don't try to touch it with your bare hands. Heavy gloves or something to scoop it up if you have to move it. They can carry diseases and infections, so if they bite you, since they don't know you're trying to help, that could be bad. So just enjoy them, appreciate the good things God gave them to do, and let them alone.